Again, just like my past clone videos, I only want to include arcade cabinet released clones of Donkey Kong. There are a ton of other Donkey Kong clones released on classic home consoles. I will focus on the arcade released copycats. Logger was released by Century Electrics 1 year after the original Donkey Kong in 1982. The gameplay is identical to Donkey Kong. The level layouts are the same. They changed the art though. This is most likely to try to avoid any copyright issues, even though everything else is virtually the same. A bird replaces Donkey Kong on top of the screen. This bird throws logs instead of barrels. The player sprite is changed too, but they didn't bother to change it too much as the man in Logger kept the same mustache that Mario has. Congo Bongo was made by Sega and released to arcades in 1983. The game looks a little different from the original Donkey Kong. It is an isometric view with a lot more vibrant and colorful characters and levels. The gameplay of Congo Bongo is where you can see they drew quite a bit of inspiration from Donkey Kong. An ape named Bongo throws things down on the player from the top of the screen. The main character has a big red nose and is in explorer's gear. He does have a mustache, just like Mario. This explorer man needs to avoid all the obstacles and work his way through the maze-like path to reach the top of the screen in order to beat the level. There are 4 levels in Congo Bongo. The first level is called Primate Peak. Bongo throws rolling coconuts down at the player, similar to the barrels in Donkey Kong. Snakes will move at the player to slow them down and throw them off the cliff. The second level is Snake Lake. It adds scorpions for the character to avoid. Hippos dive in and out of the water, so you need to time your jumps to get across them. The third level is Rhino Ridge. Rhino herds charge you. You will need to go into mole holes to avoid them, but if you stay too long, then the moles will fill them up and kick you out. The last level is Lazy Lagoon. Cross the water by jumping on hippos again, along with lily pads. Once you reach land, the rhinos return to charge you down. Reach Bongo at the top to see the final cutscene. From here, you start over from level 1, but with increased difficulty. This game received pretty poor reviews. Critics said the gameplay was repetitive and frustrating. They also said the music was annoying after playing for a while. Crazy Kong and Crazy Kong Part 2 have strange stories of how and why they came into existence. There are also odd, almost negligible differences between each other and the original Donkey Kong. The Crazy Kong arcade games are clones of Donkey Kong, but they did not exactly steal from Nintendo. That is because Nintendo officially licensed the game, but only for operation in Japan. Nintendo did this because they were so busy in America that they did not have the time to make and distribute an arcade game overseas. They even outsourced the development of the Crazy Kong arcade cabinets and games to a different company. That company was Falcon. Falcon made the games with all new hardware, so they had to redraw and recolor the graphics. Falcon made sure to keep the exact same gameplay elements of Donkey Kong. Falcon made a sequel called Crazy Kong Part 2, though this game is just a copy of the first with only minor graphical changes. Both Crazy Kong, the first one, and Crazy Kong Part 2 run on the modified arcade cabinet of another classic game called Crazy Climber. When Falcon remade these games to presumably copy every aspect of Donkey Kong, they didn't get it perfect. There are slight changes among all the games. The title screen in the Crazy Kong games does not have the copyright or company name that is usually there in the original Donkey Kong. Crazy Kong contains green metal girders, compared to the magenta color in the original Donkey Kong. Mario has brown and dark red colors. The front-facing sprite of the gorilla is different. You can tell that Crazy Kong's gorilla is taller and more vicious looking when he opens his mouth. Crazy Kong has some rolling barrel animations missing. All the sounds are taken from the Crazy Climber arcade game. The background humming music is not present. The sound effects overall sound more crude. Mario says "Hi-ya" when he jumps. The gorilla beating his chest sound comes directly from the gorilla in the Crazy Climber game. There is also a cheat to beat the first level that is not found in the original Donkey Kong. Some sprites are removed entirely, and other sprites are positioned a little differently from the original sprites. Some say that Crazy Kong is a more difficult game than Donkey Kong because the collisions are less forgiving. Crazy Kong vs. Crazy Kong Part 2. The metal girders are orangish red in the Crazy Kong Part 2. Again, they're more green in the first part. Mario is colored like the original Donkey Kong, unlike the first Crazy Kong. After completing 100 meters, the text "Give up" appears, which doesn't happen in any of the other games. Part 2 adds a cinematic scene at the beginning showing Crazy Kong breaking out of its cage. Other than those slight changes, these games play and look almost identical. In January 1982, Nintendo revoked Falcon's license for Donkey Kong. They did this because Falcon was exporting Crazy Kong cabinets outside of Japan, which breached their contract. That is not the end of Falcon's bootlegging career, though. The company made an arcade game called Crazy Kong Jr. They cloned Donkey Kong Jr., and this time they weren't licensed by Nintendo or didn't have their permission. A lot of these companies did not get in trouble because of the clones they made. Yeah, some are distinct enough from the originals, but others just copied the classic arcade games directly and without authorization to do so. I have enjoyed researching these 1980s classic arcade game clones. They are interesting to learn about and to dissect all the small variations from the originals. Hopefully you like all this information about arcade clones too. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you.